Okay, so here's where we're at, starting to put them together. I took my two 6-foot pieces, laid them down, and just slapped this board up here temporarily. Flushed it up, put a screw on it. Flushed it all up around here, put a screw on it, just to hold that end apart. While I went down here, this is going to be my bottom. I took the spacer board I had left over, flushed it up at the bottom of this, and then started what's going to be my bottom screen support closest to the floor. So I left enough room for this 2x4 because when I'm done, I'm going to connect the two sides like this with 2x4. So I did that intentionally. Squared and flushed this side up, put one screw in it, and I come over here, squared and flushed it all up, and then put a screw in it, put another screw in it here, and then come back over here and put my second screw in this end once I know that it was all true and flushed up. Then I took my spacer board, which is just a piece I had left over from cutting up the full length 2x4s. It's about 5 3/4 inches. If I could go back and do it all over again, I would have preferred probably 5.5 inches because it'll give me a little bit more room for the top shelf. But I already put one side together trying to work it all out in my head, and this is what I used. So I took my spacer, put it in between the bottom and the next one, brought the board over, flushed it all up. I'm pre-drilling all of my holes because I'm using 2-inch deck screws and I don't want to split these 2x4s. So what I did was lined it all up, drilled a hole, put one screw in, drilled another hole, but did not put that screw in yet until I came over here, dropped my spacer back in again, flushed all this end up, drilled that hole, put the screw in, drilled that hole, put the screw in, then came back here and put the screw in right here that I already had the hole drilled for. Going through and doing it this way allows me to keep it all flush and true using the same spacer every time. Keeps the shelves uniform. It'll help me keep everything square and make the gaps in between these all the same for my shelving. So I'm going to go ahead and go down and do all of that until it looks like this one over here. And then I'll show you how I join the two together and if I have to put any other additional bracing on it. I'll find out once I get to that point. But here's where we're at so far. Okay, here we are again. We worked our way all the way down with the spacer. All I do when I get back up here to the top now is loosen up the two screws that I put in here originally, because if not, this gap here is too big. So I put my spacer back in and then slide the board back down to flush it up. This gives me a little bit of a lip up here on the top. Like I said, if I would have worked it all out on paper and everything beforehand, I would have went with probably 5.5 inches instead of the board I use is about 5 3/4, because that would have gave me more of a lip up here, so I can put another drying rack on the top. It'll be fine, it'll work out all right, and honestly we'll probably never use it for the most part, but I'm gonna make one anyways because that'll give me a total of 8. So like I said, all I do is loosen these two screws back out, slap the spacer in, slide it back down, and tighten it back up. It'll keep me uniform and flush all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, finish up this side, and then I'll show you how I join the two sides together. Okay, so here was I've done. This is the bottom. I put an 18.5-inch board flush across in between the two sides on the front and the back. My screens are going to be 18 inches wide, so I figure 18.5 inches will give me play so it's not too tight sliding them in and pulling them out of there. So So there's one in the front, one in the back. Then I come down here. This is the top. I took an 18.5-inch board and put it under the top shelf in the front and the back to give it some stability. I'm going to stand it up, see how I feel about it. If I feel it needs any more supports, then I'll cut a couple more 18.5-inch boards and maybe go here in the middle, but I'm going to stand it up and give it some wiggles and side to side and see. It's not going to support a lot of weight. It's probably not going to get moved around much. And worst case scenario, I can always go back and add another support later on down the line if something happens where I feel this isn't enough anymore. But I'm going to stand it up and see what I think. Okay, so here's the rack that I came up with to hold everything while it's drying. I basically cut 32 2x2s at 18 inches. Glued, Brad nailed them together, and then I got a roll of screen, cut it, stapled it around the edges. It was kind of pokey and rough on the fingers, so all I did was put a little bit of duct tape on it to just cover up the pointy edges of the screen. I decided to go this route because I looked at Home Depot and was gonna buy screens pre-made already possibly, and then just build the shelving unit for it. But the cheapest pre-made screens they had there were Andersons, and they were $30 a piece. So I basically built 8 screens for what it would have cost me to buy one of those. So there they are. Pretty simple. I guess like I could have put more into it and spent more time on it and actually framed them and stuff like that, but I mean, honestly, it's going to be drying oregano and parsley and rosemary and whatever else she puts in it. So they don't got to be super heavy duty. That should be more than enough space. I'll check back in and let you guys see the finished product with all the screens in it and stuff once I get it situated to where it's gonna go in the basement. And now here we are downstairs in its home for the time being, at least. I see the trays just slide in and out of here. They sit on those 2x4s. Good amount of space in between them all. Wife likes it. She's excited. So hopefully she gets some use out of it this year. It's pretty big, so I doubt that she'll run out of space. It's kind of a mess down here right now. It's starting to thaw out, so she's got plants starting for the garden. House plants moved down here out of the way for Christmas and other holidays. Just ain't made it back upstairs yet. So as always, thanks for stopping by, checking it out. I got a really random channel, I know. If you see anything you like, subscribe, hang out, follow along. It's gonna be all for now. Thanks for watching.